So, welcome. Good morning. Hope it was a good morning, and I hope it will be so far. We're going to talk about Horus today in the morning. Afterwards, Sarvani will take over with her talk on Nama Tattva. So we should see here in the afternoon talking about Nama and Aksharas and some things which are quite important when we talk of Mantra Shastra. But for now, we're going to talk about Hora. Hora, it covers a vast amount of definitions. It can be the definition of an hour, hence the Greek word hora for an hour. It can also mean that division which is divided into two parts. Now, why the similarity? Anybody? Sorry? Day and night. I don't get it, so. How does an hour have to do with day and night? The hour does not. Mm-hmm.
So there's the light and the dark.
Light and dark, yes.
As the division of two.
Yes.
So is that not a hora?
What does that have to do with hora? That's something you learned with time, that there's some definition of hora in day and night. What does that have to do with hora itself? The word hora.
To me, it's a division of two.
If we look at the word hora, and we see how many hours are there in a day? 24. How many signs are there in a day? 12. So there's twice as many hours as there are signs? 2. Now, what you were referring to is the root offspring of the word hora. It comes from the word ahoratra. Ahoratra, day and night. That's where day and night comes into the picture. And from this word ahoratra, the first A has been removed, and atra in the end has been removed. Now, it is not without cause that we just remove them. We can't just slice up words in Sanskrit. Thank God, yes. But, having derived the word hora, we again come back to the definition of an hour, and it being twice as fast as the progression of the lagna moving through the zodiac. Hence the definition of 2 as being a hora. Now, when do the horas start? Sorry? Sunrise. Good. Yes. But today we're starting the day from midnight. So? Because it's Kali Yuga. Oh my God, somebody's listened to this before. If you see the small table I've given here, in the first yuga, Satya Yuga, it is said that the definition of day started from sunrise. In the next yuga, it started from midday. That is, as soon as the sun is exactly above us, the day starts. In Dwapara Yuga, it began at sunset. That's funny. Or rather, day ended and began again at sunset. And finally, midnight became the last definition as per this yuga. So this is going to apply to those who run by a civil calendar. Astrologers cannot use this. It's only for those, for civilization to move, to prosper, to progress. Okay? As far as they're concerned, their day starts at midnight in this yuga. But as astrologers, we cannot use this definition. Our definition of a day should be from when the day starts, that's when the light comes, till the day starts again, that's when the new day comes. Right? That makes sense. As astrologers, we should follow the sun. That's not to say that these did not follow the sun, but they're working on a civil calendar. And for those who are interested in actually going deeper into the concept of yugas, look at the 4 movable signs which are in quadrants to each other: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These 4 each rule a yuga. And by analyzing that sign, which planets gets exalted there, which planets get debilitated, you'll also understand What is the quality of time in this yuga? Take Capricorn. Capricorn is supposed to rule Kali Yuga, the current yuga. Now, which planets get exalted in Capricorn? Mars. So there'll be lots of wars. Anything that gets debilitated in Capricorn? Jupiter. The lifespan will be shorter. The memory will be shorter. We'll forget everything that they taught us back in the day. Our heritage will disappear. You can do more than this. Analyze the trines to Capricorn, Taurus and Virgo. Which planets get exalted or debilitated in Virgo? Venus gets debilitated, so what does that mean? For who? For the entire yuga? The concept of love and sexuality will be very degrading, very low. Okay? Mercury gets exalted there. Business will flourish. There'll be communication beyond boundaries. Internet. The world will become smaller. Mercury. Taurus, the moon gets exalted there. There'll be a stronger focus on family. More so than in the past. That's a small sidestep. Now, this Hora, having the definition of two parts, are divided into two planets, which is supposed to give us life. Which are they? Sun and Moon. These are the light givers and hence life givers as well. The Sun creates us and the Moon sustains us. Sun and Moon. Parasara has gone a bit deep and he said the Sun's Hora is ruled by the Devas. Let me write this down first. Sun. Devas. And Moon's Hora, Pitris. Why? Pitris are ancestors. Ancestors. Why this definition? Usually when we talk of devas, you think, oh, the demigods and the demons and the humans in the middle. What's this all about?
The Pitris can only be seen at night.
Sorry?
The Pitris are only seen at night?
As ghosts? Your parents are Pitris as well? Okay? It means all ancestors, all those who came before you. The whole lineage before you.
The lawfulness?
Lawfulness? No. No. Tradition? Okay. Why? How? Go on, give the full sustaining force. You're on to something there. Very good, very good. Okay. So the moon. Oh, whoa, relax. Have you ever heard that if you die whilst the sun is traversing what's called the Uttarayana, you go to the Devas, and Dakshinaya, you go to the Pitris? Has anybody heard that?
I've heard it.
Devas, if you go to the land of Devas, or abode of the Devas, that means you're attached to action. That means you were born, and in this birth, you were attached to the action. In case of Pitris, you were attached to the family, sustaining the family. Uttar Ayana, northern course of the sun. Sorry, is it Uttara, it's northern course? Yes, that's right.
What's the other one?
Dakshin Ayana, southern course.
Would you expand on that, please? So you go to, if you die in the sun's hora, then you go
Sun's
to
Ayana.
Ayana, sorry. You go to the area of action.
You go to the devas because you are attached to action. You go there for a specific reason. If you're attached to family, you would stay with your family after death. If you're attached to action, you would enjoy the fruits or suffering of your action. Yes?
Is the dictum that if you die when the sun is in the northern course, that's what happens?
Yes.
It's not,
Yes.
I mean, every time there's always the sun.
It's always the sun. But this definition comes from an Upanishad, which gives a basic definition, which is applicable to most human beings. Now, what if in a chart there's a yoga for moksha, or what if in a chart there's a yoga for going to Naraka or those talas? Then how is this going to work? You have to judge very carefully. But the basis comes from this twofold hora. The moon, the Pitris, the ancestors before us, the sun, the devas. The devas are always producing, creating resources. And the Pitris, basically our family, are the ones who are in demand of it. They need it so they can be sustained. This twofold division is also there. Hence, as soon as we're talking about the sun's hora, we're looking for that which is creating resources for us. And moon's hora, those which are demanding resources. So, for practical application as astrologers, we should be referring to these two as supply and demand. Okay? Now we're getting deeper and deeper into the wealth aspect of the hora. Okay? Now before we go there, we're going from spirituality to materialism. So just to keep us in the right plane of consciousness, I would like to start with a mantra. So far we've been in a nice plane. Those of you who have heard it before, it's Hari Om. Please recite after me 5 times. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Okay, that felt better, didn't it? It always does. So, supply and demand, those which are creating resources, creating money, creating work, and those who need that, need the same. Those who have read Parasara, do you remember which planets does Parasara say are good in the sun's hora and which are good in the moon's hora? Raise your hands if you know. Yes, Satsiri.
In the sun's hora, it's Jupiter, Mars.
Are you reading from the handout? Okay. In the sun's hora. Yes, go on.
Jupiter, Mars, Sun, and Moon.
Jupiter, Mars,
Sorry,
and
and Sun.
Sun, yes. And moon's hora?
Moon, Venus,
Venus, yes.
Saturn,
Saturn, and moon. He also adds that Mercury is good in both horas. Now, just before we get into this, it's important that you know that the definition of Hora charts these days as Cancer Leo is not a chart. Have you ever opened the D2 chart, the Hora chart, and you see all the planets in Cancer and Leo? You seen that? That is not a chart. It's not a chart. They call it the Parasari Hora, but it's not a chart. You cannot see lordships from it. You cannot derive any predictions from it, other than that they're in Cancer and Leo. But actually what it means is, some are in the Sun's Hora, ruled by Leo. Some are in the Moon's Hora, ruled by Cancer. To make it easier, they've just put everything in Cancer and Leo. But that's actually not right. The true definition would be, they are in subdivisions of Sun and Moon Hora, and they are charts, which are used separately. Like those who were there for the Vimshotri lecture, and we did some Navamsa discussion. There were some Deva, Rakshasa, Manusha, Navamsas, but at the same time we have a chart. So we have some deities and a chart. Okay? Let me show you in Jagannath Hora, just so that you're sure. Let's take, actually let me ensure you can read this. Oh, wait. Let's open, say, Kashinath Hora. That's what we'll be using today. And at the same time, you can go under what's called Amsa rulers, right here. You see this? Look under Hora. See that? Now, this is the chart, the actual chart, the Hora chart. But these are the deities which rule the planets and other positions of the chart. So when we talk of Dvarga charts or divisional charts, we have some deities and an actual chart. The reason for this is that the deities will show something very subtle relating to the nature of an action, nature of a planet's placement, whilst the chart will give us the actual prediction. The deities are spreading light on us, spreading light on what is the essence of this planet's placement. Okay? Just like when you go on to D60, you'll find 60 different names for the Shastiyamsa, D60, but you'll only have 12 signs in a chart. They are used separately or conjointly, however you're predicting. So this is important before we go on. So this definition of Sun, Moon is just the deity of the Hora chart. And we have to first understand the deities, or those which are spreading light on the essence of a planet, before we actually go to the chart. It'll give us a very, very good background before we get into the chart. So getting back to this. Some planets are good in Sun's Hora, some planets are good in Moon's Hora. Mercury is good in both. Why did he say these three are good in Sun's Hora? Jupiter, Mars, and the Sun. Sorry? Sorry? Oh yeah, Mars is burning, Sun is the Sun, and Jupiter reflects lots and lots of light. It's one of the biggest planets. But is that enough? What are we going to use this for? Why do you even say that? These have lots of light. We know that. Sorry? Okay. Gender?
Satrian energy and action orientation. I heard somebody talking about gender stuff.
Yeah, you might be half right. Then why didn't he add Rahu and Ketu to this list? They have genders. Sorry?
They may not be happy because they're not physical planets.
So what does it mean that they're not physical embodied planets? Why did he exclude them in this division? They cannot produce, correct. And they don't have any needs because they're invisible. They have no body. So somebody's supposed to be supplying resources for you, right? And somebody's supposed to be eating that. The nodes do not have bodies. What are they going to eat? You see that? They don't have bodies. And he specifically said Jupiter, Mars, and the Sun. They produce lots of stuff. Lots of resources. Okay? Don't Venus, Saturn, and Moon produce anything? Does that mean if Venus is in some yoga on your chart, you won't get any resources? See? So what does it mean? Yes? Michael?
Well, the Sun, Mars, and Jupiter are all in sort of the natural scheme of things. They sort of tend to look after the affairs of the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Ruler, and Mars is the natural protector, and Jupiter is the natural advisor. So
I like that. That's in the right direction, yes.
if anybody was to have anything to do with the maintenance and supply of things, then it would be those planets.
Oh, these do not rule maintenance.
Well,
They can't rule maintenance. Those who are on the demanding side will show whether they're demanding too much or too little. They actually adjust the maintenance. Okay? Maintenance is done on the demand side, not on the resource producing side. Yes, Satsiri?
Does it have anything, it doesn't fit perfectly, but does it have to do with that idea of suras and asuras? No?
Not exactly, but it's close. It's close. If you study suras and asuras, the concept, keep in mind that asuras does not mean demons. Please. Not people with long ears and long teeth and green and having a tail. Asuras are those who do not follow the sun, follow the sun's ways. They do not ascribe by the government's ways. These people are businessmen. They are looking out for themselves and their family. Those who are suras are in the best interest of civilization, whereas asuras are in the best interest of themselves. Okay? Yes?
there's something about Sattvian energy, leadership, fire, action that comes to my head.
Well, some are masculine, some are feminine, yes. Some produce, some are taking. That's correct. But can you give a more definite definition? As far as resources are concerned, what type of resource does Jupiter rule? Sorry? I can't eat knowledge. Money and wealth. Good. So Jupiter will show the supply of money and wealth. If Jupiter is in Sun's Hora, there'll be a good supply of money and wealth. If it's in Moon's Hora, there will always be not enough supply in your life. You'll often see you don't have enough wealth to start a project, to sustain you for the end of the month. You are not good at producing wealth. You do not produce enough wealth. Okay? Otherwise, in Sun's Hora, yes, the person is good at creating wealth. And usually, how much they create is always exactly what they need. Or even sometimes more. People with Jupiter in Moon's Hora tend to be a bit, how to say this, when it comes to wealth, they don't think it through. Okay? Mars, energy, strength, the worker. It shows the amount of available labor, strength to produce through work, workers. If Mars is in Moon's Hora, you'll never have enough employees to do the job. You'll not appoint enough people to perform the task. Whilst in Sun's Hora, this will not be so. Basic definition, yes?
But Mars would also be the protector of the wealth.
Oh, but protection lies on the demand side, actually, not on the production side. Keep that in mind. Think very carefully. Okay? How about sun? What will it produce? Life? Okay. Leadership, initiative. You see, you might have money, you might have manpower, but in the end, you need the resources for the manpower to work with. Right? Tools, maybe. Artifacts. Authority, no. No. Don't get into that scheme of the sun. Sun rules resources which you have maybe acquired through your wealth and the workers must work with. Sun is broad because it actually produces the resources from all the 12 signs. Okay? Any questions?